Okay, hello everyone. Sorry, hello everyone. Sorry, we were recording the Bryophytes session line by line NCERT. My system hanged suddenly. I don't know why. So we will just go through Bryophytes today, and then we will practice in MemoNeet and come back. We completed till this, but still we will quickly go through from the first so that it is a separate video properly. So bryophytes include various mosses and liverworts. So these are types of plants that are found commonly growing in shaded areas, that is without light, less light. Okay, and also moist, in the sense wherever there is no light, the water automatically condenses in that place, and that place will be moist. So that is these two lines. And then bryophytes are called amphibians because they live in the soil and they require water for sexual reproduction. And they usually occur in damp, humid, and shaded localities. So this is just the repetition here. They play an important role in plant succession on bare rocks and soil. So this means that they usually it is not possible for plants to grow in rocks and soils, right? Because they cannot get enough nutrition from rocks. So what these do is they have the capability to live in rocks and soil, so they will eventually break these rocks and soils for other plants to get more nutrition. So they play an important role in converting these rocks and soils into plant growable areas. So they play an important plant succession. That means that they improve the capability of other plants to grow in rocks, in bare rocks or bare soil. So if you want to fertilize a soil, or if you want to improve the capability of some soil in where plants should grow, you should grow bryophytes there. So I didn't explain this point really well in the previous video, so that's why I'm covering it. Okay, the plant body is more differentiated than of algae, so that is obvious. So it is thallus-like and prostrate or erect and attached to a substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. So this means that it is not as much as very simple as algae, but still it is thallus-like, and also it is attached to substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. So after talking about rhizoids, they are telling about roots. So that means that instead of roots, they have rhizoids. Okay, they have true roots, stems, or leaves. They may possess root-like, leaf-like, and stem-like structures, but they don't have real root, leaf, or stem. So the main plant body of the bryophyte is haploid. So haploid meaning is, we should have studied this already in previous classes, but the meaning of haploid is any cell that has one pair of chromosomes is called as haploid. Okay, so let's make this clear. So the main plant body of the bryophyte is haploid. Okay, so this means that the cells present in the bryophyte have only one pair of chromosomes. So it produces gametes, hence it is called as gametophyte. So whichever produces gametes are called as gametophyte. So that is very simple, and bryophyte is gametophyte. So that's very clear here. And then the sex organs in bryophytes are multicellular. Okay, so that's what they're saying. So multicellular. The male organ is antheridium, so they produce biflagellate anthrozoids, and the female organ is called archegonium, and it is flask shaped, and they produce single egg. The anthrozoids are released into water where they come in contact with the archegonium, and anthroid fuses with egg to produce the zygote. And zygotes do not undergo reduction division immediately, so that means that the zygotes does not get into meiosis, but they produce a multicellular body. The zygotes produce a multicellular body called a sporophyte. So simple thing, anthrozoids are released into water, they are biflagellate, so they can move, and archegonium produces a single egg. So these anthrozoids, since they are biflagellate, they move and come into contact with the archegonium. Okay, an anthrozoid fuses with the egg. Comes in contact with the egg. The anthrozoid then fuses with the egg to produce the zygote. So zygote is a unicellular thing. So in order for zygote to grow into an organism, it has to undergo meiosis, right? Cell division should occur. So if it doesn't occur, the zygote will only be the same. So, but zygote does not undergo reduction division, but what they do is they produce a multicellular body called a sporophyte. So what the zygote in turn produces a multicellular body called a sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free living. So sporophyte is multicellular. So that doesn't mean that it is a new individual or it is a new bryophyte plant. It is not free living, but it is attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte. So that means that the plant body, the initial plant body that released this anthrozoids and egg, right? So this sporophyte is attached to it, okay, and derives nourishment from it. So some cells of the sporophyte undergo reduction to produce haploid spores. So some cells of the sporophyte, so this sporophyte is multicellular, right? So some cells in this sporophyte undergo meiosis to produce haploid spores and produces other cells that are haploid cells, spores. These spores germinate to produce gametophyte. Okay, these spores germinate to produce gametophyte. So this is the whole set of confusion here, right? But still it can be a bit clear. So this is simple. So there are anthrozoids, there is egg. So anthrozoids fuses with egg and it produces a zygote. Zygote does not immediately undergo meiosis to produce a new plant body. Instead, what it does is it produces a sporophyte, which is like a new plant body, but it is not free living. It is attached to the main plant, that is the main gametophyte. Gametophyte is nothing but the plant itself. They call it a gametophyte is because it produces gametes. It produces this anthrozoids and eggs. Okay, so don't get confused. Gametophyte is nothing but the plant. So the sporophyte is not free living, but is attached to the gametophyte and derives nourishment from it. Okay, so some cells of the sporophyte, then some cells in the sporophyte, the plant-like body, which is not free living. So this is multicellular, right? So some cells in this undergo reduction division to produce haploid spores. Okay, so these produce haploid spores. Haploid spores are nothing but they're simply spores. They're with a set of chromosomes, right? One set of chromosomes. So these spores germinate to produce the gametophyte. So one gametophyte, that is one plant body, has converted into a new plant body. So this is the cycle end to end. So in that it converts into zygote first, and then the zygote gets converted into a sporophyte, and then sporophyte produces haploid spores, and that haploid spores germinate to produce the new gametophyte. So it's very simple. Okay, so this is it. So bryophytes in general are of little economic importance, but some mosses provide food for herbaceous and mammals, birds, and other animals. So species of sphagnum, a moss, provide peat that have long been used as fuel. See this how it is being useful. Sphagnum, a moss. This is a moss, and provide peat that have long been used as fuel. So this peat has been used as fuel and as packaging material for transshipment of living material because of their capacity to hold water. Okay, this is used in packing material of living material because they have capacity to hold water. So mosses along with lichens are first organisms to colonize rocks and hence are of great ecological importance. I said right the same thing here. The plant in succession of bare rocks and all. So this is nothing but these plants have the capability of growing in the rock, right? So what the mosses along with the lichens have first colonize rocks, so they can grow in rocks, and then after they decompose the rocks, they break the rocks, and so that substrate is suitable for the growth of other plants. So they are very important in the succession. They convert the rock that is incapable for other plants to grow into capable for other plants to grow. So since mosses form dense mats on the soil, they reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. So the bryophytes are divided into liverworts and mosses. So these are the two types of bryophytes. So they also form dense mats of the soil because they decompose these rocks, right? So they form mat-like structure on the soil, so that reduce the impact of falling rain and prevent soil erosion. So the bryophytes are divided into liverworts and mosses. So these are the two types. Okay, so this is kind of a simple. So we will see how much we understood it when we practice in MemoNeet app.